And welcome back to another Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Connor Conroy. Asked the question, who would win the fight? Darth Vader or Kylo Ren? Now, two interesting things about this matchup. I'm sure people have been talking about this for God knows how long since they introduced Kylo Ren and found out that he was basically his grandson. Is that A, there's a cool fan film out right now with them fighting that I think only came out pretty recently. Pretty good. I don't agree with the outcome, but pretty good. And B, this fight actually would have happened if we had gotten Colin Trevorrow's episode 9, which I believe was what was the name of it again? Episode 9 original. What was the name of it? Duel of the Fates. That's what it was called. Duel of the Fates. So 9. Duel of the Fates. Yep, that's what it was called. If we had gotten that, there would have been a scene reminiscent, pretty much the exact same as Luke on Dagobah fighting Vader, except it would have been Kylo Ren fighting Vader. And Kylo Ren actually lost that fight, whereas Luke won his fight. Even though the Yoda did say, "That is why you fair." But if these two somehow did manage to legitimately fight, who would come out on top? You look at them both, we really don't know. We really don't know, even if you take Legends, everything into consideration, the full extent of Kylo's power. We know he is powerful, like raw power. We know he can do a force push. We know he can, telekinesis. He can invade individuals' minds. But when he got up against someone of relative equal caliber, he cannot beat them. Against Rey, he couldn't beat Rey mentally. Rey ended up going into his mind instead. He could not, so therefore Vader, he can't go into Vader's thoughts, really couldn't. If we're talking about Vader at his peak. Telekinesis, Vader, we know, could easily, again, from what we saw Kylo Ren demonstrate, Vader could easily overcome when it comes to telekinesis. In fact, Vader would often employ that with his lightsaber technique, like when he did with Luke, just, nope, I can do it without even moving my hands. So he beats him in telekinesis. But that being said, we never saw Vader stop a plasma bubble mid-shot. That's not to say he couldn't, we just never saw it. But we know Tuta Menace, is that the name of the technique, where you literally absorb energy? So he didn't need to stop it. You could just go, nope. Go take your gun now, Solo. So Vader could absorb the energy attacks, whereas Kylo could stop it. Neither Kylo nor Vader could actually use Force Lightning. Kylo, because I just don't think he was skilled enough to use it. And Vader, because his cybernetics actually hindered the use of Force Lightning. He'd short out his cybernetics. Although there was one type of technique he used that was kind of like it, where it was like he created electricity, but he was in the presence of a special crystal and stuff like that. Very odd. If Vader did not have his cybernetics, he more than likely could use Force Lightning. In the games, we've even seen like Anakin use Force Lightning. So there was that as well. There was like the Force connection Skype chat, but that wouldn't do anything in this case. I'm trying to think of any other Force abilities we actually saw Kylo Ren use. We know he can Force choke to a certain degree, though Vader, frankly, could easily kick his ass on that as well. We know that he can hide his thoughts to some degree. Like Snoke was envisioning what he was doing, and he was envisioning it right. It's just he didn't envision who Kylo was going to use who Kylo was going to do it on. He thought he was going to kill Rey, but he's going to kill Snoke instead. So there you go. There's that little caveat that maybe he can hide his thoughts a little better than Vader can. Though it still remains to be seen if he could do that or not. In terms of a straight lightsaber battle, I'm going to be honest, there's little comparison. Kylo has a mobility advantage because he's not hindered by his cybernetics or anything like that. But when we really see Kylo Ren fight, and the fact is we'll be using him with his crossguard lightsaber because it's the one he usually has. Because it's Kylo Ren, not Ben Solo. It's he's definitely got skill. He's clearly been trained, but because of the style of weapon he's using, he also has to be careful on how he uses it so he doesn't hurt himself. And because of that, he's using really wide arcs and stances and stuff like that. It's a bit more of a raw style, if we're going to be honest. Yes, he's trained clearly, but it is a bit more of a raw style. Whereas Vader had decades to perfect his craft in terms of the style lightsaber combat he used. His style is really a blend of other styles rolled into one. It's very much The second form is called, I believe, Makashi, which is the dueling style. It's very clear that Darth Vader's style is at that point in his height was a blend of that with the power style of Form 5, if I'm not mistaken, because Form 3 is the defensive. Shit, is it Form 5 or Form 3? Even what's that? Lightsaber forms. Well, let me make sure I get this right, because I know the forms. I just can't remember all of the numbering. Because there is the standard basic style lightsaber forms. One second. There we go, lightsaber forms. Because there's the standard one, which everyone's taught. The Makashi is the dueling style, which that's the second style. I believe Sarisu is the third style. One second here. Why the hell are they? Oh, here we go. All right. Hold on. So Form 1 is Shicho, which is just the standard style that apprentices learn. Makashi is the dueling style. It's considered outdated. Very few use it. Dooku was a master of it, which is why he was so dangerous. Sarisu is the non-aggressive defensive one, which Obi-Wan was a master of. Ataro is the athletic one, Form 5. Shin and Dim So. Observe Form 5. Lightsaber is a good opponent, is able to recognize two principles, but gives the fighter opportunity to go on the offensive. Basically, it's the offensive form. It's the opposite of Sarisu. Nimon is basically a kind of a jack-of-all-trades style, but it's being used in conjunction with your force abilities. And then Juyo is basically the aggressive form that used mostly by the Sith, but Vapad is the alternate version made by Master Windu. And he's pretty much the only one who could actually learn it. Now, there's actually way more styles in Legends than there actually are in canon, but that's just due to the fact that over time, years and years of experience has happened. The point being is that Vader pretty much knows all the styles, but he's more or less a master of a blended style of Makashi and Jim So, which is basically aggressive dueling style. But he's also perfectly adequate at going on the defensive. He is clunkier, so he's not as fast moving normally, but he can enhance himself with the Force temporarily. He can also keep his body going with the Force if his suit breaks. And physically, that suit gives him a lot of extra strength. And he is a notorious Jedi killer. He's probably one of the best Jedi killers to have ever existed. Whereas Kylo, he's killed a couple of Jedi, sure, but there haven't been a lot of Jedi who were anywhere near as skilled as Jedi that Vader killed. So if these two honestly met in combat, what would happen? Let's say through some Force shenanigans, whatever, they are forced to meet in combat. First off, Kylo's going to be at a disadvantage psychologically because this is his grandfather. Man, he idolizes the Sith. He idolizes, so he's going to be already freaked the frick out. I'm trying to cut down swearing, so I don't have to change up the labeling for my videos. But yeah, he's going to freak the hell out. And then Vader's going to maybe play some mind games with him. And force to force wise, at least initially, they'll be comparable. Like force push, they'll be fine. Force choke, Vader's going to win out on that. But eventually kind of let it go. It's kind of basically going to be Dooku versus Yoda in that sense. Where, while yes, Yoda is clearly stronger with the Force, Dooku pointed out, it's clear that this competition will not be decided with our knowledge of the Force, but our skill with a lightsaber. God, just a point of fact, or sidetrack very quickly. Attack of the Clones is pretty much the worst live-action Star Wars movie, in my opinion. The prequels are bad. I don't love. I don't hate them like a lot of other people do, but I don't love them. But there's good stuff in all of them. As bad as Attack of the Clones got and boring as it got, there are some great things. And Christopher Lee as Count Dooku. He made that his all. Oh, God, I miss Christopher Lee something. God, he'd be in his hundreds now, wouldn't he? He'd be over 100 years old, wouldn't he? Christopher Lee. Well, how old was he when he died? Hold on. Christopher Lee. Yeah, I know I'm sidetracking real quick, but I want to know that. Christopher Lee. Died at the age of, I know he's in his 90s when he died. Born 22, died June. So, yeah, that would have worked out fine. So 68, 78. He died. Oh, dude, like a boss. In 2015 at the age of 93. Yeah, man, I miss Christopher Lee so freaking much. And yeah, actually thinking about that now, he'd be going on 100. He'd be 98 years old if he were still alive today. Holy crap, man. God, we miss Christopher Lee. Anyway, So it's you have grown strong, Ben, but it's clear that this competition will not be decided by our skill with the Force, but our skill with a lightsaber. And then their fight goes out. Now, again, speed wise, just like youth and mobility wise, Kylo has an edge over Vader in that. I think we can kind of all agree with that. And they can both augment themselves with the Force. I have no doubt about that. So Ben does have at least a speed physical advantage, but Vader's suit is durable enough to not tank a blow. Like it won't, it's not immune to lightsaber, but it can absorb a blow and keep going. You'll eventually get through his suit, no doubt, but it can take a glancing blow, no problem. And Vader is skilled enough to know his own weaknesses, his chest piece, his lack of mobility. So when he has to augment himself, he can clearly do that. Vader's also far more experienced and had far more many years killing Jedi, fighting in actual lightsaber battles than Kylo has. So, while Kylo is definitely, arcing, doing the best he can, maybe even throwing a force blast out there, Vader just counters that, throws him away, like bitch smacks him with the force, and then just comes in on the offensive. And, Kylo is just struggling, using telekinesis. Let's say it takes place, I'm trying to think of let's say it takes place on Starkiller Base. Let's say you got a whole scenario that looks like kind of like Class A, so there's rooms with objects in there. Vader just starts telekinetically throwing stuff at Kylo. Now Kylo might be able to stop it initially, kind of throw it back, but Vader can keep going and use it without even using his hands. We never see Kylo use telekinesis without his hands. Whereas we see Vader, oh, don't you know that, Darth Vader? Well, we see you doing that now. We see Darth Vader doing that very often. Like, again, that fight with Luke is a clear example that his level of telekinesis far outclasses Kylo's. Again, Kylo, as far as we can tell, needs to use it. Now, he could, force freeze Rey there and just look at her and make her pass out. But at that time, she just wasn't skilled with the Force at all. Then later, as she grew, he couldn't do that anymore. So these two would be duking out. Vader, though, would clearly be wearing down Kylo because he's got the advantage of having cybernetics that can augment his actual abilities and keep him going in a much more long-term battle. Like, he's built more for an endurance run than Kylo is. Kylo will eventually just tire himself out, and Kylo is much more controlled by his rage than someone like Vader's. Vader knows how to use his rage and use it to his advantage and use it to his purpose, whereas Kylo, he is just an immature child, ultimately. And I think that's really the biggest factor. Vader just overall is more experienced, has had more time to cultivate his power and grow, and he's more machine now than man. He's kind of a Terminator in many regards. He's a Jedi Terminator. Kylo is just kind of an upstart who wanted to be Vader, and he just never did. It's why I really wish I do fall into the camp of people who did like The Rise of Skywalker, but it is my least favorite of the three. It took me a while to figure out if I liked it less or more than Last Jedi, but it is my least favorite of the three. Oddly enough, I'll be honest, I think Last Jedi, despite all the problems I have with Last Jedi, and there's a lot, Last Jedi is actually, I think, my favorite of the new trilogy. Just because of the story, the mythic level of storytelling with Luke and Kylo and Rey and Snoke, it really makes up for a lot of the crap you get with Poe and Finn and Rose and, oh God, Holdo. That plot point made no freaking sense. And it led to some cool stuff, like Holdo freaking light speeding through a Star Destroyer. Okay, yeah, it may have made no sense, but I'll take that. Awesome seeing the Phasma stuff not getting any payoff. But for all the crap that really bugs me in that movie, there's a lot of stuff I love in that movie. And as an overall movie, I liked Force Awakens better. As for the good outweighing the bad in my mind, I liked Last Jedi better, and for that reason, it still has one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars now, and my number one favorite scene in the entire new trilogy, and that's the Yoda and Luke scene where they're just talking and then they gaze upon the burning tree. We are what is to be surpassed. Like, damn, that's pure Star Wars right there. And I don't care whatever. You can debate that to me. The cows come. That's pure Star Wars right there. Yoda laying down the teaching to old man Master Luke to that day. That bar none is clearly Star Wars to me. But yeah, Vader, I think, just outclasses Kylo in just about every regard. So for me, it's got to be Vader. Let me know if you think differently. You think Vader ultimately is the better fighter, or do you is the ultimate winner in this version? Wow, I am failing on choosing my words right now. Do you think Vader is ultimately the winner in this confrontation, or do you think Kylo actually is the superior to Vader? I don't think a lot of people do, if I'm going to be honest, but I'll be interested to hear what you think. Till then, though, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, who wants to review something, put it in the comments below. Let me know. I'll do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Super Magic, what if anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching. This is Thursday, well, coming out on Thursday. So I got a who would win tomorrow, Friday. This is pre-recorded on Wednesday. I'm wondering if I want to pre-record Fridays too. Now I'm thinking out loud. Just going to save me some time, definitely. I don't know. I'll consider it. I got to see what Fridays is going to be before I decide to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.